These are the top 10 lowest mintage Lincoln cents ever minted. We'll begin only a few years after the Lincoln cent debuted with the 1911 S Lincoln penny that had a mintage of 4,026,000 coins. And this coin earned its reputation through sheer persistence if nothing else. Collectors pulled examples from circulation for decades, and yet desirable coins seem to remain elusive at best. Despite this, most coins are known to have been struck reasonably well, though seldomly with the same crispness that you would find in the coins of 1909 or 1910. In 2025, Great Collections sold a magnificent example of this rare coin, graded as MS66 Plus Red. It achieved a closing price at auction of $46,125. The Denver Mint had not struck 1 cent pieces since February of 1922, when production again resumed in the closing months of 1924. The result was a semi-key issue that is scarce in every grade and becomes a genuine stopper in coins above, say, EF, with a mintage of only 2,523,000 coins. And most 1924 D cents bear the evidence of that hurried, imperfect manufacturing. Worn dies with softening details that were misaligned, often weak towards the right side of both faces for some reason, and the O in one is typically characteristically faint as well. But every so often, a coin shows up that not only defies those odds, but blows them out of the water completely. This MS65 Plus Red example, graded by PCGS, is just that coin, sold by Great Collections in 2025 for the amount of $39,937 by the auctioneer's final call. Overshadowed from almost the moment of its creation by the more famous 1909 S VDB penny, the 1909 S cent, all the same, has a low mintage of 1,825 coins, still earning its position as a key issue for the series. A lot of these coins have a very interesting and characteristic wood grain effect in their coloring, or an uneven coloration, which was a side effect of an imperfect alloy mix used for the metal of these coins. In 2025, Heritage Auctions sold an MS67 Plus Red example, an absolute stunner of a coin, at auction for the astounding closing price of $48,000. The mintage of the 1914 Denver Mint cent at 1,193,000 coins might seem a little, well, comparatively high when placed next to, say, the 1931 S or 09 S VDB. However, those coins were hoarded as low mintage or first year of issue coins. The same, however, cannot be said of the 1914 issues, as their true rarity only became better understood after the coins had already been in circulation for at least 1 to 2 decades. As a result, the coin is rare and sought after in virtually every grade point. And a perfect illustration of that point was a PCGS graded MS66 Plus Red graded coin that was sold by Heritage in 2026 for $128,100 at public auction. The 1931 S has one of the lowest circulating mintages of the entire series at only 866,000 coins, nearly all of which were minted in the opening months of the year. However, virtually none of those coins entered circulation in 1931, and many were only released several years later. By that time, the coin's low mintage figure was well publicized, and speculators and dealers managed to get a hold of entire bags and rolls of these coins, which were then pulled from circulation. This led to one of the great paradoxes of the Lincoln Cent series, where 1931 S's are actually fairly easily obtainable in mint state grades today, but virtually impossible to find in lower circulating grades. And in 2025, Heritage Auctions sold an example of this coin, graded by PCGS as MS67 Red, for the sum of $43,200. And then for our next coin is something of a controversial pick, perhaps, as it is an NIFC coin, or a coin that was not intended for circulation, but with a mintage of only 784,614 pieces. I think maybe it does warrant inclusion in this list. And it's actually not just one coin, but 4 different coins. Well, technically actually 8 different coins. These are the satin finish 2009 bicentennial cents from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, commemorating 200 years since Lincoln's birth. These coins were included in the mint sets of 2009 and are actually struck from the pre-1982 95% copper composition and carry the special satin finish, as opposed to the circulation strike coins that have the regular finish and were struck from the copper plated zinc composition. Now, despite their low mintage, these coins are not really crazy valuable, as original mint sets, a P&D set from 2009, can still be purchased for $35 or $40 today, and even slabbed and graded, a complete 8-coin penny set should be less than $200. In fact, in 2025, Great Collections sold exactly a set like this, graded as SP68 Red by PCGS for $176. Meanwhile, the story of the 1909 S VDB Lincoln Cent is far better known, and on most lists, and most definitely up to only very recently, it would have easily taken the number 1 position on most lists. One of the very first Lincoln pennies struck for the new series. It includes the designer Victor D. Brenner's initials of VDB on the bottom of the reverse design. A seemingly innocuous design element that drew such criticism that the mint stopped production of the cent barely days after it began, and instead of redesigning the coin, it chose to simply remove the initials altogether. At San Francisco, this happened after they had only managed to strike 484,000 coins, instantly creating a circulating rarity that collectors would be chasing after for the next 100+ years. And in 2023, when the Stuart Blay Red Copper Collection was distributed, a 1909 S VDB penny was graded as MS67 Red by PCGS, was sold at auction by Great Collections for the astounding sum of $345,375. The next coin is again a coin that was never technically intended for circulation, but was included as a bonus when purchasing a complete mint set directly from the US Mint. This is, of course, the 2019 W uncirculated penny, which had a mintage of just 346,117 coins. Struck at the West Point Mint, these were, well, the first ever Lincoln cents to include a W mint mark on them. And to be completely fair, there were also 3 coins like this. The uncirculated coins, which you got when you purchased the mint set, a proof W cent, which had a mintage of 600,423 coins, which you got as a bonus to the regular annual proof set, and a special reverse proof W 2019 cent, which had a mintage of only 412,508 coins, which was included in the silver set for that year. Now, most of these coins, especially the uncirculated one, can be had for less than $100 if you're not too picky about the grade, or if you get the coin raw in the original mint packaging. If you're looking for perfection and an MS-70 red coin, then you're going to have to shell out probably around $600 to $1,000 in order to obtain one. And in 2024, an auction record was set by Great Collections when it sold an MS-70 red coin for $4,612 at auction. The next coin was again one that you had to buy as a part of a set and could not be obtained in circulation. This time it was the 2017 S Enhanced Uncirculated Lincoln Penny, which came as a part of the special Enhanced Uncirculated set that the US Mint made at the San Francisco Mint to celebrate the Mint's 225th anniversary. And the set had, and consequently the penny as well, a mintage of just 210,419 coins. Now this is definitely not, despite the low mintage, the most valuable coin. The entire set in the original mint packaging can be purchased for $40 to $50 right now. Even slabbed and graded, the entire 10-coin set can still be obtained for between $100 and $200, depending on grade. And then we reach the number one position with the lowest mintage Lincoln cent of all time, going to a modern issue no less, in the form of the 2025 Omega pennies. Now, technically, these were never intended for circulation either, but they were a special run of only 232 coins that featured the Omega symbol just below the word Liberty on the obverse of the coin. And that number, 232, is very specific. It is one for every single year since the cent entered circulation in 1773. And the Omega pennies actually consisted of a 3-coin set of sorts. One coin from the Philadelphia Mint, another coin from the Denver Mint, both regular uncirculated Lincoln pennies, and then a special coin minted at the West Point Mint struck from 24-karat gold. These coins were meant to symbolize the end of the circulating penny in 2025, and when set number 232 crossed the auction block, which also included the actual coin dies that the mint used to strike these coins, it sold for no less than $800,000. Although it is fair to point out that the average set that sold at auction went for about $70,000 to $80,000 each. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about the $1 million Stephenville collection of Lincoln cents right here next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.